Each abortion represents a unique set of people, circumstances, and convictions. They're not just statistics. Still, the stats do help paint a picture of who the Supreme Court's upcoming ruling will affect. From 2015 to 2019, the U.S. averaged about 890,000 abortions per year. That's among women under 49. This means that roughly 12 out of every 1,000 women in the U.S. had an abortion. Now, these numbers come from the Guttmacher Institute. That's a group that collects abortion statistics and advocates legal abortion. Some women end up aborting their first pregnancies, but according to the CDC, 6 out of every 10 women who have an abortion are already mothers. The latest estimates also show that abortions are declining in the last few years. Let's share one more story of thinking through an abortion. Caroline writes, "This is the first time I've told my story outside of friends, but with Roe being in such jeopardy, I feel like I have to speak out. I had an abortion when I was barely over 20. I was working in a bar, totally broke, really unhealthy, using substances and generally unfit to become a parent. I struggled and struggled with my choice. It wasn't easy, especially with my strict Christian upbringing. I went to a Planned Parenthood where the pregnancy was confirmed, and then to a crisis pregnancy center where I was met with nothing but a stick to pee on and judgment. Ultimately, I knew what I had to do. Fast forward 15 years later, I am a wife, mother to 2, and a social worker. I took my new chance at life and made the most of it. Without my abortion, none of this would have been possible." Caroline, thank you very much for sharing your story. Let's share some more of your stories and questions with Jody Hicks, the president and chief executive of Planned Parenthood Affiliates of California. She recently wrote an op-ed for the LA Times called "Why I'm Telling My Abortion Story Now." Ms. Hicks, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I wonder, based on the op-ed that you wrote and also on the story from Caroline that we just shared, what your reflections are in terms of the impacts, the real world lived impacts that making this decision can have on women in a variety of ways.
I mean, I think it's so important right now to tell your story. We launched a website, sayabortioncalifornia.com, and it was really why I decided to tell my story. I didn't feel comfortable asking other people to do that if I wasn't willing to do it myself. And my story is typical of most, which is I wasn't ready at that time. And it has, what I know, it's afforded me the life that I have now. And it's a life that I believe I deserve. And everybody's decision is valid. And, I go through all of the feelings that I think everyone's feeling right now, from real rage and anger to being really, really sad for all of us and for the next generation. And I don't want us to have to tell our most vulnerable stories and put our most private decisions out there. But the fact is that we have stigmatized abortion. We have called it all different words so that we can attach shame and blame and all of those things. And I think it's really what led us to where we are today, where people are making decisions that really affect people's lives, their health, their dignity, and the trajectory of their very futures.
In your story, you write that your mother drove you to the clinic, paid for the service, and cared for you when you got home, that you had the benefit of a supportive family and an uncomplicated abortion, but you said it remained a nearly taboo subject. And you wrote in the LA Times that you to this day do not know if your father knows that you had an abortion. Your mother obviously knows, but to this day, you don't know if your dad knows. How does that sit with you? A number of the people who shared their stories with us wrote or said in their voicemails that they were telling this for the first time. And as you heard from one of the stories tonight, they weren't sure if the people closest to them even knew.
Yeah, again, a wide range of emotions. And I did call my mother. And part of that story is my auntie went with her and supported my mother while my mother supported me. And I was a teenager with all of those complicated feelings and relationships at the same time. And I did call my mother the day before the story was coming out. And it's interesting, I'm 50 years old now, and it still felt like my 16-year-old self calling my mom. But the first thing she said to me was, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't talk about it more with you. And I'm sorry that I didn't ask you more how you were doing. And my response was, everything I wrote is the truth and how I feel, which I'm nothing, have nothing but gratitude that she was able to be there for me. And now in the position that I'm in today, I hear all of the stories of people that are having to travel outside of the state they live in, are having to navigate this very complicated and now hostile public health system in order to get access to services. And I just have nothing but gratitude. The truth is, she never did tell my dad, and we haven't talked about it. And I hope for a better conversation. I hope for a better future for the next generation, and certainly for
Yeah.
my daughters, on understanding that healthcare is essential, including abortion, that every decision is valid and should be made with their doctor, and can be a conversation with loved ones to get the support that everyone deserves.
I know I've only got you for a few more minutes, but I did want to get to one note from Gladys. Gladys writes, in part, as a mixed race woman who was raised on abstinence, I found myself in situations where I had no other choice but to abort because I realized my precarious situation was unsuited for rush reality, particularly men, even though birth control would be in the back of my mind. Many black women find themselves against all odds where not only do they have to care for themselves, they got very little social support, especially in a pregnancy situation. During pregnancy and childcare, a woman needs shelter, community, financial and living support, etc. These necessities are often at the minimum, which creates a juggling endeavor at the moment a woman is in greatest needs for them. I got to let you go in just a minute, but I wonder what your sense is in California of how communities of color, of which there are many in the state of California, might be affected by this. I can imagine that your group is talking to, black women in Baldwin Hills differently than you might be talking to Asian communities on the peninsula, different than you might be talking to Latino migrant workers in the Central Valley. It feels like there is an array of different constituencies for your group to deal with right now.
Absolutely, and that's inclusive of in the types of care and the types of outreach that we give in meeting each patient where they are, and spreading messages out to communities. But I mean, I think it's important to note that any kind of barrier to healthcare, especially abortion, always disproportionately affects women of color, women of low incomes. And we have to credit Black women who have been the leading voice of why we don't say pro-choice as much anymore, because it's not always a choice for people. And it's why we talk about abortion rights and really reproductive justice. And it's Black women that have led that charge, because of that intimate understanding that it's not always a choice. There's many, many factors in why people make these decisions, and why there's such an important need for people to have access to the care that they need when they need it.
I can give you 10 real skinny seconds to just elaborate on that statement. When you say for many black women, it's not a choice, what do you mean by that? Very briefly.
I think it's for many women, if you don't have access to family leave and childcare and health care, and in Mississippi, the state where this is being heard in front of the Supreme Court, there's only one healthcare provider, and it's truly a very dangerous place to be pregnant. And so those are not free choices. Those are important decisions people make for their families and their very health.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.